Hey yo, what is up? Welcome back to World of Tanks, and today we will review the new ASTRON Rex 105. This is the reward or a tank you can purchase from the Return of the Waffentrager event. Of course, this tank has been ninja buffed just recently in the last couple of weeks or something like that. In between the time they released the tanks to the community contributors to try out, and to the time it's released, it's been buffed a little bit. So we're going to talk a little bit about the stats, and we're going to talk a little bit about what this tank can and cannot do. Now, I have some good news and I have some bad news. The good news is this is going to be an excellent crew trainer because it is a medium tank and a premium tank. The bad news is the only good crew trainer it can be for is for the T69 tier 8 tank, because that is the only tank where the commander carries the situational awareness skill or perk. If you don't have situational awareness in your commanders like all your medium tanks, then this is going to be a problem. You will need to spend gold, you will need to retrain some of your crews. If you put a pattern crew in, imagine you will have to retrain your pattern commander to carry a situational awareness, and then when he goes back to the pattern, his situational awareness will be useless because the situational awareness perk, of course, is in the either in the radio man or the loader. Like in the tier 9 it's in the loader, and in the tier 10 it's in the radio man. Or I don't know why they do this, but you know, this is a big boo-boo in Wargaming's part, because you know, there is so much mumbo jumbo going on. Some of your situational awareness is with your radio man, sometimes it's with your loaders, sometimes in this case, in this tank, it's with your commander. So you're going to spend a lot of time wasting those skill slots, retraining them for, you know, useful on this tank, useless on the pattern. So that is one of the big major issues. The other bad news I have for you is this tank only carries 30 shells. So 30 shells is really bad. But other than that, let's take a look at some of the stats while you enjoy some of my gameplay. As usual, I show you my reaction video, which means this is my first game, but truth be told, this isn't my first game. This is actually my second game. My first game was on one of those recon maps, but for some reason I could not pull out that replay and get a good video out because the replay was corrupted. So I had to play this tank a second time to show you and pretend it's my first game. But anyway, let's get to the stats. 1300 hit points, 50 more hit points added to the original stat, which was 1250 initially. Top speed of 52 kilometers going forward, 30 going backwards, which means this thing is quite agile on its feet. However, the power is 450 horsepower, which means very low horsepower. Power to weight ratio 14.52 is very low power to weight ratio for a medium tank, but this is a very light medium tank. So on flat grounds you can get pretty good speed. It's not bad, but because of the low power to weight ratio, you saw me climbing up this hill here, it was very sluggish, very slow. But other than that, on flat grounds you don't really feel it. It's not too bad. This tank has no armor at all because the hull armor is only 85 millimeters, but you do have a little bit of turret armor, 220 millimeters. Now the special thing about this tank is, of course, it is an auto loader. 32 seconds of auto reloading time. Not too terrible. You get it down to about 28 seconds or something like that, but it has a 4-second intra clip, so it works a little bit like the Char Future 4. Damage 320 per shell, so it means this is 1200, 13, I don't know, this is something like 1300 clip potential, whatever. They increased the penetration from 185 to 195 millimeters, more penetration on the standard shell. But truth be told, in today's gameplay, 190 millimeters penetration in tier 8 is not that great, to be honest with you, and you will spend a lot of time thinking about, should I run the premium shells for 250 penetration or risk wasting an entire clip trying to fire 190 penetration into a heavy, into the front of a heavy tank or something like that. So you need to think about when you want to reload, what kind of shells you want to reload. You need to think about that a lot. Now, because I forgot to mention, now because of one of those slots, because of the situational awareness problem with this tank, you have to put a optics in this tank if you don't have a commander, or if you refuse to retrain your commander with one of those situational awareness skills, so that you can get your optics up. Otherwise you will be able to see fuck all. So I wasted one of those slots on optics. Otherwise I could have run a turbo instead, which would have increased my mobility a little bit better. Now I could have played this a lot better. I made a mistake here, confronting this tank. I could have got my damage up to 4,000 or 4,500 damage if I had not thrown away my HP here. I really miscalculated then, and this was a really big mistake on my part. But what I can say about this tank in conclusion is I like this tank. It is very good. Apart from that, situational awareness slot that is not in your regular commanders, only if you have a T69 that will slot in perfectly and fit into this tank. Other than that, I do like the performance of this tank. The aim time is pretty good. The dispersion is 0.41, which is pretty poor for a medium tank. That is why I run the improved aim. I run BIA, I run food. It brings the dispersion down to something like 36, 37, which makes it playable. Not that great for sniping at a distance, but moving dispersion 0.17 means that this moving dispersion on the move is actually pretty good. You can auto aim and move and shoot at the same time, but I do run improved aim, and yeah, overall I do like this tank, apart from the situational awareness scuff, you could say. And for a first game, aka first game, actually second game, not too bad. I'm not too disappointed with myself. What do you think? Let me know. Are you going to chase down this tank and try to get this? I think you can get this for free if you complete missions or something like that, or are you just going to buy it outright and play it? 5-shot auto loader, pretty interesting tank in my opinion, and I think in the hands of good players especially, they are just gonna smash it down and do a lot of damage and push the the 3 mark thing up for a lot of people. So yeah, I do like this tank. I hope you like it too. I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.